All right, gentlemen.
Hey, first one's free. First one's free. After that.
Hey, Esteban, what we do normally is we just jump in, dude. We don't, we'll play the music in a second, but I normally check on Pat's weekend, but since we got a guest, how was your weekend, Esteban?
My weekend was great.
Right.
I was looking at some of my properties.
All right. And some of my properties. Okay. So Pat only rolls with the best. So obviously it wouldn't be like I was just looking at one property. It'd be like I'm looking at some of my properties. So, and Pat, how was your weekend? Had a big showing, man.
Man, my weekend was great. We did the open house over at 139 East Highland. Man, that house is beautiful.
Oh, it's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
We had live music on the front patio. John Fernandez and those guys, they really did a great job. They can do a little bit of everything, but it was a cool atmosphere. And then being at the end of the block with all that parking, like people were just able to drive up, no problems, and just come on through.
It was a good vibe. I was there.
Yeah, Esteban came through.
Oh, cool. I saw one of the lives on it. That was amazing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it looked good with them singing out there.
This is a beautiful house. I don't think it's going to last.
You don't think it's going to last?
No, I think it's going to move pretty
we
quickly.
don't want it to last.
Yeah, we don't want it to last, right? Ideally, but some you kind of like, I don't know. It's going to be there for a little bit. I think
Right. No,
we're priced pretty aggressive. It's going to be it's going to move.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's jump into this, man.
All right, let's do it.
You are now listening to the latest episode of the Urban Texan Realty Group podcast with your host, Patrick Vallejo, a.k.a. Downtown Pat. From the starry nights to the city lights of Texas,
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Patrick gives you the best and most comprehensive advice on real estate. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Urban Texan Realty Group podcast.
Woo! Welcome, everybody. Patrick Vallejo, Urban Texan Realty Group, Downtown Pat, coming at you from the downtown corridor with my man, Gylan Jackson. And then today's special guest, Dr. Esteban López. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing great, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Everybody have a good weekend, Gylan?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Well, first, let me give a shout out to our sponsors, right? We've got Alamo Title, Norma Urbina, my closer of choice over there, getting it done. It doesn't matter if you need a notary, you need to get something done that's it's going to be wholesale, non-MLS. You just need to make sure title's clear and you're trying to get a deal done. That's my girl, man. They really make it happen. Ventura Plaza off 1604, that is the one that I work with and my closer of choice. Also, we've got Dudley Snyder, Fairway Mortgage. This guy is a stone cold killer. It doesn't matter what type of deal you're trying to get done, whether it's condos, mansions, farm, ranch, you name it. This guy will run everything through. He's going to let you know exactly what you qualify for, any bonds, grants, down payment assistance. That's the truth, man. Everybody that we work with, they're remarkable at what they do.
Does refis?
He does refis, yes, absolutely.
time.
Rates are low right now. Good call. Yeah, rates are low right now. Definitely get in while you can because they will be going back up. And then for the morning, we are all being bean powered by Shotgun House Roasters. We are using the one on the west side off Buena Vista. Love this place, man.
West Side.
West Side is alive, man. Warehouse number 5, for those that don't know. You've probably heard us highlight the area in our podcast for some of the hottest spots in the city right now. It's coming.
Puro
It's
San
coming.
Antonio.
Man, Puro San Antonio. So everybody, here's my guy, Esteban López. He is phenomenal. He is not just a client, but he's a great personal friend. And I actually met him through the Hispanic Chamber several years ago through the ABLDP program. He's an owner of a pediatric group called Hopscotch. He's also a tech executive, physician, licensed physician. And honestly, this guy is like a straight up serial entrepreneur. I mean, he does it all. He's one of my favorite people to talk to, not just about real estate, but just general, right? We talk about terms of business and our life goals and where we're trying to get to. And I love bouncing stuff off this guy. Esteban, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's. I think we met back in 2017 when I was chairman of the Hispanic Chamber.
That is correct. That is correct. The metal.
Metal. San Antonio Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the oldest Hispanic chamber in the United States, the very first one.
Absolutely, and the largest minority chamber in the United States as well.
Well, one of the largest here in San Antonio. Definitely.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. We're very proud of it. And that program they run through the ABLDP is second to none as far as just giving people really long-term views on where they want to be and how they can plug into the city and give back to the community. I love it. I love it. So, Esteban, we're going to be running, we normally do Pat in the City is our phase one that we normally start off with. And so what I'd like to do is touch base on just some of the things that you've been doing. For those that don't know, Esteban has a fairly extensive portfolio of properties that range from multifamily to single family to condos, right? All the things you hear me talk about, Esteban's got a little toe in almost all of them. But firsthand knowledge is second to none, and that's the thing that I really, really appreciate when we work together about, because he's got really great insight. So I wanted you guys to get a piece of this. Esteban, you've been doing a lot of short-term rentals lately, haven't you?
I do. That's probably about 50% of my business.
50% of your business. Did you have long-term rentals previously?
I did. Actually, I started with long-term rentals. So I still have long-term rentals, but I started in real estate, I would say back in 2008.
Yeah.
So what happened was I had gone through a divorce,
Yeah.
and I was going through a divorce in 2007. Bought a townhome in the medical center, and then lived there for a year, and then moved into a garden home, but didn't sell the townhome. I didn't need to sell the townhome to get into the garden home.
Yeah.
And so then started long-term rental there. Then moved out of that garden home into the home I'm in currently in Castle Hills.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, re-elect Kurt May, my husband, who is
that's right.
seat 3 there in Castle Hills. I know that the mayor of Castle Hills was on recently as well, Jared Trevino. So moved to Castle Hills in 2009, and so then I had 2 long-term rentals.
Yeah.
And from there, I ended up getting another long-term rental, and I hadn't really entered the short-term rental market. And it wasn't until about 2017 when my last tenant, at that point I had 3 long-term rentals. My last tenant moved out, and I had a lot of extra furniture. Half the house was already furnished. And so I thought I was going to give it a try, and listed it as a short-term rental.
Yeah.
And literally the day after I listed it, someone rented it for a month.
Nice.
And
So you got better than average rent for what you would have for a regular long-term rental with still the duration of a full month as a constant renter, right? At a higher price.
Yeah. So easily 4 times the amount of the profit that I was making in rent, right? So remember, there's, for me, the strategy was I wanted the long-term rental to pay the mortgage and maybe make a couple $100, right?
Sure.
Off of it. So I would say that couple $100 multiplied times 4.
Would you say month to month, time of year? Is it seasonal? As far as how well your properties rent for what they get?
Yeah, San Antonio is a great short-term rental market. I don't know if you know this, but there's a military graduation every Friday.
I did.
So there are folks coming here for Air Force graduations. There are folks coming here for business. And San Antonio is the #1 tourist destination for Texans within Texas.
Yeah.
And also the #1 tourist destination for people coming to Texas.
Yeah, we're the gateway.
Yes, it is. People come here year round, but definitely short-term rental market is seasonal. I would say my slowest months tend to be December and January. And your listeners may be wondering what is a short-term rental. They probably commonly know it as an Airbnb or VRBO, bookings.com. It's where someone comes in for a couple of days.
Right.
And I had a short-term rental in Austin. San Antonio killed it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was head and shoulders better here than in the Austin market.
Well, you're buying better too, right?
You are.
You're buying better. I mean, and let me ask you this. I mean, obviously, pricing is a big difference for what you put your stuff up at, but would another factor, be just because I've been inside one of yours and actually sold one of them, and the thing that jumped at me immediately is like, man, it was super cool. Like you walk in, mid-century modern vibe, like it is well decorated. A lot of thought put into just somebody staying there like they would a normal hotel room. and I know I appreciate that when I use short-term rentals because I do as well. But would you say location is also plays a part as far as how well they perform?
I would say it's always about location. Location in
That's
real
right.
estate.
That's right.
And it is location in short-term rentals.
That's right.
It's not putting up your house and renting it, at least the way I do it. And you've seen
Sure.
mine. It is about giving people an experience.
Yeah.
And you and I have been to really cool hotels, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. But it's not like you're going to decorate your house that way, right?
No.
And so the way I design the short-term rentals, I like my design aesthetic, which is typically mid-century, modern or mid-century, or there's
Sure.
stuff in there.
And we're in San Antonio, Texas, right? So, I
Yes.
mean, just throw a little Texas in there anywhere.
Absolutely.
You can't lose.
But give your guests an experience, and short-term rental is not for the faint of heart. If you do not like being on call, if you don't like being a host and giving your guests a great experience, then that's not the right strategy for you. But if you enjoy it,
Let me jump in real quick. So I help a buddy of mine, actually a mutual friend of ours, manage his Airbnbs. And my question to you is, do you have somebody, manage his short-term rentals. Do you have somebody that does all the cleaning, everything for you? Do you have it? How do you help manage that, and how do you make your life a lot easier?
I think like in anything, in any type of business, you need to take a look at this as a business, right?
That's right.
And so treat it as a business, and you have, like a good business, you have a team.
Yep.
I have a team that helps me. I'm not cleaning. My time is too valuable to go and clean. I'm not above cleaning. I know how to clean really well. My mom taught me how to clean.
That's right. That's right.
But it makes sense to, a lot of people will save that money. They don't want to, you charge your guest a cleaning fee. And so you have to understand what is the standard cleaning fee. Typically, even for a condo, the cleaning fee is going to be about $75, right?
Sure.
We do 75 all day long.
But a house, easily 125, right?
Yeah.
And so guests will pay that. They understand that. And so I have someone we have a team. My personal assistant helps me manage my Airbnbs or short-term rentals. And we've had up to 7. Right now we're down to 2 because you sold 2 of them recently.
Bam.
And but we're bringing 10.
How'd you do on those, by the way? Did you
I
get
did
above market?
Really, really well. I did really. And you know what? I sold them, as you know, one of them, I sold them with the furniture. And
Absolutely.
that is the second time that I've made money off of a design.
That's right.
But as you also know, we're bringing 10 online in the next 3 to 6 months.
That is correct. Where's that? We were talking about location. Where's those 10s going to be at?
So we have several going in the King William.
Yeah.
And one in the medical center, one in the Fredericksburg corridor in between Deco District and 410, helping redevelop that area.
Yeah.
And then potentially 2 in Menke Park.
Yeah. Yeah. We got, it's a 4.
Yeah, but we're going to do 2
redesign
long-term
it. Yeah,
rentals
make
there
2 bomb.
and 2 short-term rentals. And as you know, we have a 9-unit building in the King William. 5 of those units are going to pay the mortgage. Those will be the long-term rental, and the lower units, the 4 lower units, will be 2 short-term rentals and 2 what I call midterm rentals. Because for the city of San Antonio, you need for a short-term rental you need a permit, and that's if you're going to rent it for 30 days or less. But you don't need a permit if you're renting it for 30 days or more. And we have a huge market here of nurses, doctors, other executives that are coming in and need it for month on month.
It doesn't hurt if they're like right down the street from the river and all the restaurants and all the, right? Like it's just.
It doesn't hurt it at all, especially if it's thoughtfully decorated.
That's right. That's right. So, you just dropped a bunch of these are like locations that people are flocking to, how'd you find those?
Well, there's a gentleman that I know named Pat Vallejo, who I met in October of 2019, who brought me this amazing property in the King William. That was derelict and falling apart.
Oh man, it was a stinker. It was a grade A stinker.
One of the units had burned.
Yep.
The property was sinking. It was not a great property, but I saw the potential there.
Yeah, great vision. We have a really great guy that's knocking out the project, David Robertson over at Build Modern.
Build
SA.
Modern.
You got to trust somebody to tackle something that size too, right?
David and I have been working on that project, and we're excited about where it's going. It's a huge benefit to that community.
Yeah, it is.
It was a property that had been neglected, was a corner of crime and vice there in the King William, and the neighbors are really excited about that property as well.
They weren't always at first, right? When they started construction, literally people were beating down the phone talking about, they're tearing it down, they're tearing it down.
Yeah, no, we're not tearing that
No,
property down.
it
We're
is
bringing it back to
gorgeous.
its old glory.
That's
Old
right.
glory.
That's right. So you hit on a couple things, and this is what I always like to highlight, right, is not only were you able to grab great properties and great locations, the meaning behind that is also for what you're going to get in your rental, whether it's long-term or short-term. So you're gaining in equity, just for cherry picking. Essentially, you got to cherry pick some of the best spots, in the city and continue to do so. But it's also made it easier for you to transition because you're in these better spots. Your rents are better. It's not as hard to get up. They're cash flowing better and they're earning better. So you're getting your year over year equity, and then you're actually getting your cash flow. That's what we hope that most people are able to attain when they follow a plan of similar nature to what you've put forward. And I think you hit on a really great thing. It does take a team, right? You got to look at these things as a business. People talk about what's going on in the city. Your home, your personal home, right? That's how you started in all this, actually can be, shifted into a chess piece for what you're going to do for your personal portfolio. And what better thing can you do to transition with, right?
Absolutely. No. So the team isn't just the staff that's helping you manage these. The team includes having an amazing realtor and partner, having amazing financiers. So we've worked with Dudley.
Yeah.
We're working with Jefferson Bank.
Yeah.
So doing commercial lending. These are, I entered areas that, I didn't have a parent that was teaching me how to do this. So a lot of this is figuring it out on your own, but also, that I've asked you, I said, hey, Pat, I need your help. I need your help to guide me here. I need your help on next steps. I consider myself a much more sophisticated investor than I was even, a year and a half ago. And a year and a half ago, I considered myself reasonably sophisticated. But we're now getting into areas where, we're able to bring some cash in. So if you're buying something that's $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000, and I know that's a lot of money for a lot of people, but if you happen to have that saved, cash is always king. We know in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
And we also learned some strategies on multi-bids, right?
Yeah. We've got a lot of different strategies that we've been in. We've won some that we weren't supposed to win, right? Like the deck was stacked against us, and we just somehow slid on in. And we'll touch base on that at the end of the show, because we're going to hit for Project Pat. We're going to talk about some of the different facets that people are utilizing right now to be able to transition and tap some of their assets. So I'm glad that you said that. We'll discuss that a little bit further. So we're going to slide over into Pat's top 5.
Pat's top 5.
Pat's top 5. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I love that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for Pat's Top 5 with Patrick Vallejo.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
All right, everybody, we are here for Pat's top 5. We've got some pretty good properties. Obviously, everything starts off this morning. I actually pulled these like at 5 in the morning. And so we have to sift back through and see what's still available, right? 5. All right, everybody, we got 419 Florida Street, MLS number 1519736. This property is in the heart of Lavaca. It is $250K. Really, it's a good deal. It's actually listed as a multifamily. It's 0.18 of an acre. You are really, really close to the Hemisphere and the Hemisphere Park that's going on right now. So you have a few things you can do with this thing. You can convert it. It looks like it could definitely use some TLC. TLC as far as its interior work. But the location, that lot size, right? If it's zoned as MF, or you can get even a second unit in the back, right? Think about what you can do in cash flow. What everybody's talking about right now downtown is all the different things that are popping up. Everybody kind of loses sight of the biggest, most obvious elephant downtown. Hemisphere Park is a tremendous project that people still don't realize the full, scope of. They are going to have multiple restaurants in this thing. They have the kid park. They've got, access to the river. But I mean, honestly, like it's been completely reimagined, and the bond money's been passed, and it's going to get done, and they're slowly but surely doing it. But as you go out there, I just had some Commonwealth coffee this weekend out there, just catching some sunshine right after church. It's fantastic.
And you can call the short-term rental office to find out even before. You don't have to own it.
That's
you
right.
Say, does this address qualify for short-term rental? And they'll let you know.
I wonder if they're going to turn my apartment at the corner of
oh man, yeah,
Cesar
your spot's
Chavez
fantastic.
And Cesar Chavez and South Alamo, right across from the Agave apartments. I wonder if they're going to turn that into a short-term rental at some point.
I wouldn't flinch.
I mean, I got a tattoo parlor downstairs. I got a lawyer next to them. It's quiet. Nothing goes on like after 10.
There you go. Just get a glass of wine, a great meal, and get a sleeve put on all in one evening.
And a divorce.
And a divorce when you're done, right?
4.
Okay, here we go. Number 4. All right, we got 523 Porter Street. We're going to be MLS number 1519739. List price is $272. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 0.17 of an acre. And the reason you hear me constantly keep bringing up acreage is because downtown, that's one of the beautiful things about it. You do get larger lots than what you would in a tract-built area. You're watching everything in real time just develop, but you're seeing some great properties. And this one looks like they took it down to the studs. They did all the things I would expect. They still got the original hardwood floors, they look beautiful, right? And then open concept, you can see that they've done an electric rewire. Kitchen's got a little bit of everything. They kept the gas because I know I liked my tortillas with gas. I don't know, man. I've had the electric. It's not the same, right? They kept the gas. Beautiful open kitchen concept. They've got granite everywhere. Kitchen flows into a dining spot that's right next to it. And at 1257 square foot, right, you got room for the office on top of having a guest come visit. So cannot miss that. It's a
Lot
great
size
property.
matters. They're not making more dirt.
No, that's right. That's right. It's finite. Size matters. Let's go. Number 3.
3. 3.
I love the Three Amigos. So we've got, we're going to back-to-back this, but we've got 8765 Kirkner Road. This is going to be MLS number 1519750. It's 1586 square foot, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's a big 2-story property, and it's on a full acre. It's out in East Central country. You guys know where East Central's at? Anybody? All right, Southeast Corridor. You're going to be like I-10 heading out towards Houston. It's going to basically be everything to the right of I-10 all the way down, heading towards Floresville, Lavernia. Great stretch of area. It's been developing
That
like
area's
crazy.
blowing up.
Man, there's some really great properties, and it's amazing. You're so far out. You're outside Loop 410, and you can actually have views of the whole downtown city from out there in certain spots. But this property looks great. They completely redid it. It's sitting on a full acre. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths alone, right? And then you're sub 300. That in itself is a steal. I don't care what part of the city you're at. But to have a little privacy, not have your neighbors right up against you, all day, I would knock this property out.
Sub 3 on an acre.
Sub 3 on an acre, 1,500. 4 bedrooms at that, right?
There you go.
Cannot lose. We're going to back-to-back it because we've been really short on properties. So 391 Quinton Drive, we're going to be MLS number 1519706. 320K. This is a 2,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and it's going to be in the heart of Monticello Park. So everybody's familiar with Woodlawn Lake, right? And it's cool. It's a corner lot. It's got big sweeping trees, a lot of cool landscaping, brick exterior, right? Front porch, a side entry because you're on the corner. the wood floors look super, super good. I mean, people don't realize, once you go darker, it's harder to bring it back lighter. So when you see people that always kept that light finish on the wood, right? Like, I mean, it stands out. It stands out. They had some addition work, it looks like. Really great kitchen cabinet, dual oven, and the lot just, I mean, it speaks for itself.
And there's a brand new pediatric urgent care coming up right there on Bandera and Wood Lake.
That's right.
Scotch Health.
There you go. There you go. That's right. Little Tommy not feeling so good at the end of the night. Don't worry. You don't got to go somewhere crazy. You just take them up the road.
Right there, sir.
Amen. Yeah, that's what it is. I care about my kids. I want them to feel good. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
All right, so we've got one at 318 Barbara. This is going to be MLS number 1519702. It's 1483 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We're priced at $415,000. People are like, oh my gosh, 415 inside the loop, right by North Star. Yep, that's right. This house is fully renovated. It's got a great mid-century feel, right? Like you can see in the design, it's a single story with like the elevated roof in the front, so you've got the extra windows for the daylight to come through. They landscaped it well. There's a half wall in the front, and on top of all the renovations, like the outdoor pool is sick. I mean, sick. This is probably about an $80,000 pool, honestly. Like if I'm trying to get a pool done, has anybody priced pools lately?
Not lately.
Oh my gosh.
There's a property on Wood Lake that I'm going to price a pool at.
Oh man, yeah.
Lone Star Fiberglass pools. Lone Star Fiberglass.
Lone Star Fiberglass
Star
pools.
Fiberglass.
I got a guy. I got a guy.
Fiberglass pools, yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
You're looking at right now. There is no pool. We can't get a pool in until June. Most companies, because we're the manufacturer, we're able to do some special things. Most manufacturers right now of pools cannot get a pool in until next year.
Jeez.
Whoa. Yeah. And I'll tell you, from a short-term rental, pool is going to bring you more, $50 to $100 more a night.
I'll do it. Right?
Yeah.
If I got my own private pool, I'm just thinking, like when I do short-term rentals, I'm usually entertaining. I like to go and enjoy myself, bring my family and get away from everything. And anybody else who wants to come on, because that's the whole point. I want to get away.
And you and I both know that inside that 410 loop, prices are only going up.
Oh, man.
We just sold a condo.
That's right. That's right. Not far up the road. We blew it up, and that went cash. Cash money millionaires right there.
Not too far from that.
No, right up the road. This thing's got a monster backyard as well. Super big deck, covered patio. I mean, really, it's set up. The master's huge, big walk-in shower. I mean, there's a lot to love about this property. And, inventory's tight, so winners are what matter. Last up, number 1. One. So I'm not going to lie. I saw this property. This is sick, right? It is 1403 Gray Flint Cove. MLS number is going to be 1519715, 4,600 square foot. It's a custom Mike Holloway home. Is a great builder here in San Antonio. He's been doing a lot all through the city for several years. Sits on an acre. Greystone is a phenomenal subdivision, 281 North, right? So you have a lot of estates, and this thing is like your classic deco property. I mean, you've got, it sits at a corner lot. It's on right under an acre. You've got your classic clay tile roof. On this one, it's going to be a choice color of gray. You've got like the Cantera railing all along the front. Like, I mean, it looks like it's like just straight out of a movie. As soon as you see picture 1, all the white everywhere, all the classic curves and arches throughout. I mean, it is a beautiful house.
It is boo to the G.
Yes, capital boo. That's right. This thing, I mean, honestly, you walk throughout it, like the bathrooms are huge. I think this is a cool feature when you have your master bath and literally his and her or his and his on each side, right? They are on opposite sides of the same wall. So not only do I not have to share my sink with you, I don't even got to look at you. I don't even got to look at you, right? It's awesome. It really, really is. But it's got some of that classic deco feel. You can see, a lot of cool colors popping. You've got a lot of like, that mid-century, those special cream tiles, right, that you have in some of your bathrooms. It's got a lot of it all. And, for a property that was built in 1996, Seriously, this thing
What's
is
the price? You
swanky.
haven't told us the price.
Man, only $850K, bro.
Only?
$850K. I know that might sound crazy, but for once you eclipse really sometimes even 3,500 square foot in San Antonio as a whole, you're already up there. You're already up there. So then you add that into
How much would that be in Austin?
Man, this is probably close to a $2 million home easily. You know, just depending on location, right? But I'm saying you can put this in the boonies. You can put this in Onion Creek in South Austin, and you're still going to get a pretty penny because it's just built well. And then again, 0.91 of an acre. I mean, that is really, really hard to find right now. So I'm going to cap off my top 5 with 1403 Gray Flint Cove, MLS number 1519715, 850K, 4,600 square foot, 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath. Do not miss it. If you're anywhere close to that price point, you got to at least put eyes on it.
That is a Tony neighborhood there, sir.
It is. It is totally Tony Montana style, for real, for real. All right, guys. Thank you very much for the Pat's Top 5. We're going to slide over to Project Pat.
Let's do it.
We got no music?
No, we never have music for Project
Man,
Pat.
I thought we were. For those that don't know, my man Esteban Lopez did not flinch when he got the pun intended from
I'll
Project Pat.
This is going to be the most edited.
They're never invited me back up.
Well, for Project Pat today, what we're going to talk about is something that you alluded to earlier right now. How are people leveraging? How are they being able to get themselves rolling, right? Not everybody has a ton in the bank. Some people are just starting off. Square one, what are ways that people can transition? One of the things that you brought up, which is more of the commonality that I think everybody experiences that they have their first opportunity is transitioning their primary residence into a rental. It's really nice if you bought well, and then when you transition, that it can rent. Sometimes you might have held on to that property for a pretty lengthy amount of time, so you've got real equity. You bought right. Things have been growing. San Antonio's booming, right? So maybe you can tap some of that equity. A home equity line of credit is what I see a lot of people do. Other people are tapping 401k. Esteban, have you tapped your 401k before or used any sort of assets?
I'm about to.
Yeah.
Gonna tap it and then pay it back.
That's right.
And I work with some great folks at BBVA here in town as well. I would say, I have several mortgages with them. So if you're with BBVA or you're with your bank, I definitely recommend try them as well as Dudley. Yeah. And you want to get the best price.
Absolutely.
I mean, shop around for those mortgages and figure out what is in your best interest and absolutely use your home as leverage because that's how you build wealth.
It is, and that's the name of the game, right? It's not we're not trying to buy bills necessarily, right? We need these things to cover themselves.
Absolutely.
And it is risk reward, right? We roll the dice. I feel more comfortable rolling the dice on myself, right, or for myself.
It's also I'll tell you, I think especially when we think about a community like San Antonio, which is 65% Latino. Yep. A lot of us come from very humble backgrounds. I mean, you see the MD after my name, and you see all that we're talking about. But I'm a poor kid from LA, and so I didn't have parents that could teach me how to invest. And now I'm helping my parents invest. I'm helping my siblings invest. In real estate's a pretty safe area, but one of the things that if you don't have questions, you need to find a really trusted advisor.
That's right.
Pat is one of those trusted advisors for me, even at my age and stage in my career, because he knows, if you develop relationships with folks that you trust, then you create these lifelong relationships. And you remember when we first met, I said, I'm not looking for transactional reaction. I'm looking for someone that I'm going to be in this with for the long haul with. So, we have to develop a relationship of trust, and we haven't broken that trust, and it's been working out.
Yeah, it has. And there's a difference between somebody just telling you, hey, you got to do this, or, oh, it's a hot spot, versus somebody else is like, hey, you know what? I actually own right up the block. Or, hey, I'm personally in a transaction right now, right there next to you. You know what I mean? It's not only do we solidify each other's numbers, but it says a lot, right? If I'm rolling the dice for myself personally, I know I'm willing to work for it. and I think my client's willing to do the same, then yeah, I'm going to show you the same game plan I'm working with, or we're going to customize to what fits your specific needs. And everybody's different. Everybody's, backdrop, their puzzle pieces all fit a little bit differently. So,
and not everyone knows, you and I look at really distressed properties.
Yeah.
And you know my appetite for distress. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with structural issues.
Sure.
I can deal with, things that are going to be a refresh of a property. I don't mind touching every single surface.
Yeah.
But once we have to start rebuilding walls or foundations or redoing the whole plumbing, that's not an area that I have a lot of appetite for.
Sure.
And so you start understanding that and working with someone who understands that. But I remember, I'm not a construction person. I know a lot more about construction now than I did even a year and a half ago.
Sure.
But I would ask you, say, Pat, what's this going to cost in terms of remodel? What am I putting into this? And so you can ask those questions to someone that you trust. And then that way you go in with your eyes wide open. You really understand, okay, this is how much I need to put in to get that. And someone like you who has a wealth of contractors that you've worked with, we don't have those, right?
Yeah.
If you have your own other job and you're doing something else, you need to be able to lean on someone to say, hey, I need a painter, I need a plumber, I need whatever.
That's right.
And that's where, in my experience with a good realtor who is also investing like you are, can help you out.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And you're right, because I'm personally not going to swing a hammer. But, I will, don't get me wrong. I'm known too. But at the same time, I'd rather go with people that are really trusted. They're going to get the job done. Right now, we've got a really, really tough environment in San Antonio because we're growing so fast. Labor is super short, right? So you've got such a bevy of people there, ready to take on a project. Not a lot of people finish, and so you want to stick with people that are, they have the track record and have their own bandwidth for being able to take on deals themselves. And so, yeah, you're right. Not everybody's going to do a fix and flip. Right, that's not something that's been necessarily a part of your portfolio, but yeah, the importance of being able to put just a really good paint job on an already existing great property, right?
Esteban, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
If you and this probably should be asked to Pat, but since you're an investor and poor little kid from the West Coast, what would be the first thing that you'd invest in? As a new real estate agent, as a new real estate investor, like if you had to do it all over again, what would be the quickest thing that you would say, hey, this is what I want to do, this makes sense?
Condos.
Okay.
Hands down.
Cash
If I had
for
to do it
condos.
all over again, I was buying single family homes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd buy a condo.
Pat loves condos. We got
Cash for condos.
Cash for condos every day. It's cheap.
Yep.
It's low risk.
Okay.
Oftentimes you have that money already squirreled away. And if you can find a good condo that just needs a good paint job and the HOA is low, all day, every day. I would do that all day, every day.
All day. And it'll pay itself off faster. It might not appreciate as fast per se, but I feel like we've been ahead of the curve for a lot of areas that we just think are already fantastic.
If I had to do it all over again, in my 20s, if I had money, I would have bought some condos.
Yeah.
Because what would happen with that is that, I'd squirrel away the profit, so I didn't need them to live on. I put it in a separate account because things come up. You have to fix something.
Yeah.
I'd sell it after a year, pull out that money, then buy 2 more or 3 more condos. And then by the time I'm in my 30s, I now have maybe $100,000 cash. Now I can start buying things. You can do the flips at that point, right? Then you can buy the $100,000 home cash. You're competing, cash is king, and then you can potentially pull out that cash after the remodel and use it again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy to even think about it because, I look at where I am now and I'm nowhere close to investing, but hopefully within the next year. Listen to Pat every single day. I'll sell a kidney or something. But real talk, if kids knew, and there's some kids that know now, but if I knew now, because I was making money in my 20s.
Yeah.
Like I was, working and having a good time in my 20s. And if I could go back and say one thing, it would probably start investing. Because it would be easy for me to build a millionaire by 30 if I knew now what I knew then.
Okay, so I just bought the third cheapest condo in San Antonio
How'd you
for
find it?
$45,000.
Okay.
I would say that
Hey, right down the street from the Med Center too, man.
Yeah.
Right there by the Deco District.
$45,000
$45K.
Okay.
I don't have to build a wall. It's all a refresh.
Sure.
And we're going to refresh the heck out of that. It is going to look
It'll look cool.
so incredibly glam. And it is going to be an oasis. But I can tell you right now, there is tons of kids in their 20s.
Yeah.
So what's 20% of $45,000? He's like, don't make me.
$9,000.
So, so 20% down of the $45,000,
$8K.
or even 10% down, because there's some places that will allow you to do 10% down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, getting that 10% down, and then getting the rest refinanced. Not a lot of us have $45,000 in the bank.
No.
But I'm
And some
sure
condos
you
you have to use cash. Some
Yeah.
will, but not all.
So, but I'm sure you have a couple thousand potentially, or you can save for that.
Sure.
In San Antonio, there haven't been $40,000. I remember when condos in the medical center were $30,000. Those $30,000 condos are now $80,000, $90,000.
Yeah.
I bought a condo 4 years ago for $55,000, and we just sold it for $94,000 in 3 to 4 years.
And then they paid us extra for the furniture.
Exactly. And so
They did.
That's what I'm
sold it
talking
as a
about.
business.
Nobody saw short-term rentals coming 5 years ago like they are today. I mean, you may have seen them, but you didn't see them coming.
Yeah.
No,
know.
not like this.
Not
Not
like
like this. And the other part is too, right? Even if you don't have access to capital, like a lot of other people too, people are even utilizing things like hard money. There's alternate financing right now because there's so much capital available in the world. And interest rates are low, even for hard money for hedge funds. Right? There's a lot of people that are trying to leverage the capital that they already have because they're capital heavy and the market's a little funny out there, right? So people are looking for safe alternatives. Not only is real estate a great safe alternative, but then you get specific into location. Well, Texas. Well, if I'm in Texas, well, Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio. I like San Antonio, right? So whittle that down, and then now I'm in San Antonio. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to be in the Med Center, or by the way, I'm going to be downtown, or I'm going to be by Stone Oak, by UTSA, right? Like there's so many great parts of this city, and if you can get in right there and you used alternate financing, and right? What is a mortgage payment for a $32,000 property, right? That's second to nothing. But if you wanted to put a number on it, that's almost $208.
Yeah. That's
you
what
pay
I'm saying.
$208. That's less than a car, man.
That's what I'm telling you is that the risk becomes very, very low at that point, because even that $45,000 or $55,000 condo is going to rent for $800 to $900, right?
Yeah.
And so if your mortgage is $200, you have on top of the HOA.
I'm just saying, versus worrying about buying baby girl a cute little, whatever for her quinceañera. You know what I mean? Like, what? I might buy a condo, and then when you're ready to go to college, I'm going to stick you there.
I want folks to build wealth, and I want, I as a former chairman of the Hispanic Chamber, I would be lying if I said I didn't want Latinos to build wealth.
Absolutely.
And real estate is a way to be able to do that at a very low, especially in San Antonio, at a very low entry point. I have family members, my brother and my sister from California, because real estate's so expensive in California.
Yep.
They can't enter the investment market there.
No.
They're entering the investment market here in San Antonio.
If I hear another story about Californians coming to Texas, and I think I'm dreaming about it now. Seriously, it's to the point I'm starting to dream about hearing Californians coming to Texas.
Well, they're not coming yet, right? Hopefully, eventually they'll come.
Yeah.
But they can't invest in California in real estate. It's too expensive. The price of entry is too expensive. So the price of entry for real estate is reasonable here in San Antonio and in South Texas. So I'm really speaking to those 20-some-year-olds, to the 30-some-year-olds who don't think that they can enter, because you have a physician here on the podcast today, and I'm telling you, I didn't start investing in real estate until I was in my late 30s.
Yeah.
And I started with a low price property because I was able to get into another property. If I had to do it all over again, I would find $4,500, $5,000 to be able to put that down payment on, save it aside. Don't buy the nice brand new car, because we know a lot of kids who are
get nothing for it.
They want the car, they want the nice clothes, they want that. Save it. Get the Corolla instead of the.
Amen. I mean, taxes are. I mean, gas is going up. Right?
You get a lot of us got, or a lot of people got checks recently, right?
Sure. Stimulus check. You might have qualified and got one.
You might have got that stimulus check. Put it aside.
Yeah.
Work an extra shift and put that aside. And in a year, you might have enough to get into a condo. Maybe not a condo in San Antonio. Maybe you will, but maybe in another part of South Texas.
Yeah.
And so being also a landlord far away is a possibility. So maybe it's in the Rio Grande Valley, or it's in El Paso, or it's in other areas.
Yeah.
Even going deeper, I mean, some people are getting $3,600 for their kids. I mean, if you think about the money, there's people that this year will make $10,000 to $12,000 just because of everything that's gone on. And now, I don't want to. My privilege is I have a job in a business, and I've been pretty good, and Pat's been great to me this past year. But imagine that, taking all that money and now going buy a piece of property.
Absolutely.
That's going to. You can't even imagine what that $10,000-$12,000 that you got this year from stimulus money is going to look like.
I was trying to get my kids to invest.
Yeah.
And they had some money set aside, and I said, "You guys need that." We found like a couple of $60,000 condos. I'm like, buy the condo.
Buy the condo.
condo.
They're like, I don't know, Dad.
They're like, why do we have to buy it? You're buying them.
But I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's the point, is right. Things aren't going to get any cheaper. I hear everybody complain about multi-bids and they're waiting for it to die out. Like, let me give you a news flash: it's not dying out, and it's not just California; it's everywhere. And the people there, the most aggressive right now in San Antonio, they're San Antonians, right? I have a lot of people there like, I don't know who's buying these $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 properties. I'm like, I know a lot of people there buying them. They're from here, and they see it. We've seen it in other cities, and now we're making our moves.
We're going to have 1 million more folks by 2030 here in San Antonio alone.
That's right. Where are they going to go? We're short on inventory. Right now, builders are only able to take so many contracts per subdivision right now because they don't have the labor force to build out fast enough. So what does that do? Not just on new inventory, but existing inventory, right? Like, think long term, think about it all as a business and make it work.
There's no other city in the United States that I know of that has the real estate at the prices that we have close to downtown, like here in San Antonio.
It's crazy.
And,
I mean, no place I want to be like this. That's for sure.
I mean, this quality of a city. I love San Antonio. I'm not from here originally. I'm here for the rest of my life.
Amen. You own some Spurs gear?
Let's not talk about that right now.
Whoa. Wait, what?
I said you own Spurs gear. If you're from San Antonio, if you're a San Antonian.
Is he from LA?
He is from LA.
You've heard of a team in LA, haven't you? But let's make this a friendly conversation.
That's right.
You are wearing black and white today, so we know,
That's right.
we know where your heart really lies. It's all good.
But I would say, people are moving downtown. People are moving to the areas around downtown. They're moving to the near west side. They're moving to the near south side. Other parts that, previously were less desirable when I moved here 18 years ago.
Yeah.
I see that continuing to revitalize itself, and I'm really excited about that. I mean, we just bought a brand new, a fully remodeled home on Martin Street on the deep west side.
First wave is what that
and
was.
There's another house it's a duplex getting completely remodeled right next door to that.
Yeah.
And so start thinking about areas where, you might have not thought about before. The prices are going to be low right now.
Yep.
That's where you need to get in.
Man, Esteban, you're telling them the streets we're in too? Come on, man. No, I'm joking. But that's my point, though, right? We're showing people where our money is actually at. It's not a secret. We want people to grow with us, right? That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
Grow with us, grow with your own family, and make some good decisions long term.
Absolutely.
So that wraps us up, everybody. Really nothing but thanks, Esteban, for joining me this morning, giving us your time. I know you're super busy. And to my man, Gylan Jackson. This is Patrick Vallejo, Urban Texan Realty Group.
One more thing.
Yep.
Before we drop off, Esteban, you gave me a great show idea, and Patrick, I want to tease this, but I think we need to either have baby investors or like 18, 19-year-old kids that are interested in this, and just run some numbers.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that happening.
Yeah.
We need to help coach those kids to be great investors. And, folks that just have a couple thousand saved up, how do we use that in a way and grow it?
Even if they get into it with a buddy of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
Coach's Corner. Patrick Vallejo, Urban Texan Realty Group. Special thanks to Esteban Lopez, and I'm out.